He was 85 years old when he passed away. He is the former welterweight and middleweight champion. The boxing world lost the great Carmen Basilio on Wednesday. He was 85 years old when he passed away. He is the former welterweight and middleweight champion of the world, a Hall of Famer. He had a lot of great fights. He fought mostly in the 50s. That's when he made his big name. He is most remembered, besides his big wins, but his biggest win, none bigger, than when he defeated the one and only, the all-time great, the pound-for-pound king of the world, Sugar Ray Robinson. That was in 1957. He pulled off the big upset. He was the welterweight champion. He was moving up in weight to middleweight. They had a brutal, bloody slugfest at Yankee Stadium. He won in what was considered a big upset at that time. Robinson was considered the number one fighter in the sport back then. They had a rematch later on in Chicago. Basilio lost that fight on a decision, but he showed that huge heart and that great chin that he always had. But the one thing about Basilio, even though he won all those titles, he made it into the Hall of Fame, he has wins over many great fighters, including Sugar Ray Robinson. The reason why people remember him so fondly after so many years out of the ring is because of the great action fights that he was involved in and that great left hook that he had. If you were making the Mount Rushmore of the all-time greatest action fighters in the history of the sport, Carmen Basilio would 100% be on that mountain.
And that was Lou Duva. And let's check in with Harold Letterman. See what Harold remembers about Carmen Basilio. I appreciate your time, Mr. Letterman. More bad news in the world of boxing. The great Carmen Basilio passed away today. What made Carmen Basilio so great?
Oh, he was such a great action fighter. You know, Carmen was one of these guys, he never stopped coming. Every one of his fights was like all action. I mean, it was amazing for a short guy when he became a middleweight. I mean, yeah, he went right after Sugar Ray Robinson, which was amazing, I mean, he took his best shots and he beat him. I mean, just unbelievable. Terrific guts, terrific heart, terrific talent, aggressive, fan-friendly fighder. And he had a great personality. People loved him.
He was the first Arturo Gatti.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. He is probably most remembered for beating Sugar Ray Robinson. That's probably the most impressive win of his career. He had many great wins, but probably not as big as...
The wins over Tony DeMarco in Boston were also very impressive.
Yeah. And he never did like Ray Robinson, though. He had a grudge against him and held it until even Ray passed away. Do you know why he had that?
Really?
Thing?
Not really. I think it was just, an ego thing, so to speak. I mean, I don't think it was, anything that you really put your hand on, your finger on, but just a big ego thing, Everybody considered Robinson the greatest fighter that ever lived, and, Basilio sort of resented that, and, he was such a great fighter, and he wanted that mythical title.
Yeah. How good was Carmen Basilio? How do you think he would have done today against Floyd Mayweather in today's current welterweights?
Oh, my God. Certainly, I think he would have been a world champion in today's world. I mean, a very, very hard hitter, hard to hold him off, good defensive fighter, very aggressive, always moving his head. Bobbing and weaving. He fought, not a crash, but he stayed low. So he wasn't the easiest guy in the world to hit, and he could crack. I mean, he was a good puncher. So, every time I saw Carmen Basilio, I was very impressed. I mean, I loved the guy. He was a, tremendous fighter, and I think in today's